Dear students and my teacher friends, Namaskar. I welcome you to the presentation lecture on Sacrum. Starting with the first point, as you can see on the screen, the first point, the shape of the sacrum. So the sacrum is a triangular bone and it is formed by the union or the fusion of five sacral vertebra. So as we know that from S1 to S5, as you can see on the screen over here, S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5. These five sacral vertebra fuse together and one triangular sacrum is formed. So on the screen you can observe the sacrum and it is made up of five sacral vertebrae. Okay, so this is the first point of our discussion. Now moving on the second point, this is the second point. Now during the childhood, this five sacral bone, that are the S1, S2, S3 and S4 and S5, these five sacral vertebra, they are separate one during the childhood. But as we grow, so during the age, let's say between the age of 16 and 18 years, this sacral vertebra starts to join each other. Okay, and this fusion completes at the age of about 30 years. So, in short, the fusion starts between 16 and 18 years of age, and by the age of 30 years this fusion of five sacral vertebra completes and we are having one triangular shape sacral vertebra. So that is the meaning of the second point. Now we are moving on the third point. So this is the third point where the sacrum is located in our body. So as you can read this point, first of all, sacrum is positioned at the posterior portion of the pelvic cavity. So this part is the pelvic cavity, and the posterior region, in the posterior part of the pelvic cavity, the sacrum is located. Now it is situated, it is placed between two hip bone. Okay, so we can say medial to the two hip bone, the sacrum is present. As you can see, this one is the hip bone, this one is the hip bone, and between these two hip bone, this triangular shape sacrum is present. Okay, and what this sacrum is doing, so it serves as the strong foundation for the pelvic girdle. So sacrum is supporting the pelvic girdle. So in this figure you can observe this. So in the center triangular shape sacrum is present, and at the same time the sacrum is supporting the pelvic girdle. So with this we have completed the third point. Okay, now moving on the fourth point of our discussion. The fourth point, as you can see, this one is the fourth point. The female sacrum is shorter and wider than the male sacrum. As you can see over here, this is the length of this one is the length of the female sacrum, and this one is the length of the male sacrum. So when we are comparing both the sacrum, we can see that the female sacrum is the shorter one and the male sacrum is the longer one. Okay, and when we are talking about the width, for example, the broadness or the width of male and female sacrum. So as we can see, the female sacrum is having more width, okay, and the male sacrum is having the less width, okay. So this is the first point. And one more thing, that the S2 and S3, okay, more curves are present in the region of S2 and S3 vertebra. For example, here this one is the S2, this one is the S3, S2, S3. So this portion, this part is more curved in female sacrum when we are comparing with the male sacrum. Okay, so with this we have completed the fourth point of our discussion. Okay, now moving on the fifth point. Okay, so the fifth point is like this. This is the anterior side. This entire side is the anterior side, and as you can see, it is the concave surface. It is having the concave surface. So anterior side of the sacrum is having the concave concave, and as well as it is having the smooth surface. Okay, so in anterior view the sacrum is having concave smooth surface. Okay, now in this concave smooth surface there are four transverse lines or the ridges are present. Okay, now as you can see in the figure, this one is the one transverse line, this one is the another transverse line, this one is the transverse ridge, and this one is also transverse ridge. So now what are these transverse ridges? So as you can see, this is the body of, this one is the body of first sacral vertebra, this one is the body of the second one, then this one is the body of third, and this one is the fourth and this one is the body of the fifth sacral vertebra. So where the bodies of adjacent sacral vertebra join, at that point this transverse ridges are formed. So in other words, we can say the transverse ridges are formed due to the joining of two successive bodies of the sacral vertebra. So the fifth point, we will remember that the anterior surface is concave one and it is the smooth surface, and transverse ridges are formed, and these transverse ridges are formed due to the joining of the sacral bodies. Okay, so now moving on the sixth point. Now the sixth point is like this. Now at the end of this line, anterior sacral foramina is present. For example, this is the transverse ridge, and this where the ridge is ending, as you can see, the hole is present. Okay? This is the transverse ridge and this is the hole. Once again, this is the hole. Okay, so these holes are known as the anterior sacral foramina. So there are total 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are 4 pairs of anterior sacral foramina, and they are present at the end of the transverse ridges. So with this we have completed the sixth point. Now we are moving on the seventh point. Okay, so this is the seventh point of our discussion. So seventh point is like this. The lateral portion of the superior surface of the sacrum contains a smooth surface. So this is the lateral portion. Okay, and this entire surface is the superior surface. Okay, and this surface is smooth surface, and this smooth surface is known as sacral ala. Okay, so as you can see, the sacrum is having the smooth surface, and where this smooth surface is present, so it is present on the lateral portion of the superior surface, and that smooth surface is known as the sacral ala. Ala means, as you can see, it appears like a wing. Okay, ala means wing. Okay, so wing like structure is known as the sacral ala. And how this sacral ala is made? So it is formed by the fused transverse processes of the first sacral vertebra. Okay, so the transverse processes of first sacral vertebra joins together, and they are forming the sacral ala. Okay, so this is the sacral ala. So with this we have completed the 7th point of our discussion. Now we are moving on the 8th point. Now this is the 8th point. Now the convex posterior surface. So this one is the convex posterior surface. So in the center, or we can say in the middle, there is a median sacral crest is present. So this one is the median sacral crest, this one is the median sacral crest, this one is the medial. So this entire structure is known as the median sacral crest. And what is this median sacral crest? How this median sacral crest is formed? So it is formed due to the fusion of the spinous process of the upper sacral vertebra. So we can say that the upper sacral vertebra, their spinous process join together and they form the median sacral crest. So that is how this median sacral crest is formed. Then on the posterior surface, we are also having the lateral sacral crest. So this one is the lateral sacral crest, this one is the lateral sacral crest, this one is the lateral sacral, this one is the lateral sacral crest, this one. Okay, so all this part are known as the lateral sacral crest. And how this lateral sacral crest are formed? So they are formed by the fusion of the transverse processes of the sacral vertebra. Once again, transverse process of the sacral vertebra fuse together, joins together, and they form lateral sacral crest. Okay, then on the posterior surface, we are also having 4 pair of posterior sacral foramina. So I am showing you this one, and this one. This is pair number 1. This one. Pair number 2, 3, and this is the 4. So these are 4 posterior sacral foramina. Okay, so with this we have completed the 8th point of our discussion. Now we are moving on the 9th point. So now this foramina, okay, that is the posterior foramina and the anterior foramina. For example, these are the anterior foramina, okay, and they are on the back side, they are the same foramina, and here they are known as the posterior sacral foramina. So these are not this separate, they are the same, but here we are viewing from the anterior surface, and we are here same foramina we are viewing from the back side, that is the posterior surface. Now what this foramina are doing? So they are allowing the passage of nerve and blood vessel. So with the help of the figure, I will show you one figure so you will get the idea. For example, in this figure, okay, see, okay, these are the spinal nerves, okay, and how they are passing from the foraminas S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5, okay. So the anterior and posterior foramina, they are actually the passage for the spinal nerves and the blood vessels, okay. So that is the meaning of the ninth point, okay. So I am zooming this so you can read this foramina, okay. They are allow the passage of nerve and the blood vessel. Now another point is there, sacral canal is the continuation of the vertebral cavity. So I am showing you this. As you can see, this is this entire portion, okay. This is the sacral canal, and the sacral canal over here, as you can understand, in the lumbar region, though then there is a thoracic region. So there is this cavity is known as the vertebral canal. So sacral canal continues with the vertebral canal. So that is the meaning of this point, okay. Sacral canal is the continuation of the vertebral cavity. So with this we have completed the 9 point. Now we are moving on the 10th point, okay. Now what happens, sometimes the lamina of the 5th sacral vertebra and the 4th sacral vertebra, they fail to meet. So the lamina of the 5th and 4th vertebra, they cannot join sometime, okay. And due to this failure, at the interior, there at the bottom you can see there is one entrance is present. So since the lamina of 5th and 4th vertebra, they cannot join, one entrance is present, okay. And this entrance at the end of the sacrum, this entrance is known as the sacral hiatus, okay. And this sacral hiatus is actually, if we try to enter, for example, if we try to enter from this sacral hiatus, for example, we are walking and we are entering into this sacral hiatus, so we will reach over here. So for example, we have entered over here and we are moving in this canal. So this is the sacral canal, okay. So this is the 10th point about the sacral hiatus, how it is formed and what the role it is playing, okay. So basically it is, if we enter from the sacral hiatus, we will enter into this sacral canal. Now the 11th point, is like this. See, on the either side of sacral hiatus, sacral cornu is present. For example, this one is the sacral hiatus, and on the either side, so this one, and this one, okay. So either side of sacral hiatus, sacral cornu is present, okay. Now cornu means It is a horn like, it is look like the horn of the animal. The shape of the sacral cornu is a horn shape. Okay, and how this sacral cornu is formed? So the inferior articular process of the fifth sacral vertebra. What is this sacral hornu is? So it is the inferior articular process of the fifth sacral vertebra, and this sacral hornu is connected to the coccyx with the help of ligaments. So this is the sacral cornu. It joins with the coccyx with the help of ligaments, or we can say between the sacral cornu and the coccyx the ligaments are present. Okay, so with this we have completed the 11th point. Now we are moving on the 12th point. The narrow inferior portion of the sacrum is known as the apex. Okay, so this is this part. Okay, this is the narrow inferior portion of the sacrum, and it is known as the apex of the sacrum. So with this we have completed the 12th point. Now we are moving on the point number 13. Okay, so this is the point number 13. The broad superior portion of the sacrum is called the base. So here you can see, here the name is written. So this part, okay, so this region, which is a broad part, okay, it is known as the base of the sacrum. So this is the point number 13. Now we are moving on the point number 14. Okay, now the point number 14 is something regarding the sacral promontory. Okay, and what is this sacral promontory? So as you can see over here, okay, this is the sacral promontory. And what is sacral promontory? So it is the anteriorly projecting border of the base. So it is the border of base which is projecting anteriorly. And what is the use of this sacral promontory? So it is used for the measurement of the pelvis. Okay, so it is like a point from where we are measuring the pelvis. Okay, so I am showing you this, the so you can see this properly. Okay, now this is the 5th point. The sacrum, the lateral surfaces of the sacrum, they are having large ear-shaped articular surfaces. Okay, so as you can see, this is the large ear-shaped articular surface. This one is the large ear-shaped articular surface. It is the lateral surface of the sacrum. Okay, and this is, we know this is the pelvic girdle, and this is the hip bone. Okay, this one is also the hip bone. Now in hip bone, this one is the ilium bone. Okay, this is the ilium bone, this one is the ilium bone, and we can see that the ilium of each hip bone is articulating with this ear shaped articular surface. So once again, this is the ear shaped articular process, and it is making the joint with the ilium. So this is the joint. Okay, and this joint is known as the Sacroiliac Joint. So once again, the Sacroiliac Joint is formed by the fusion of ear-shaped articular surface of the sacrum and the ilium bone of the hip. Okay, this is how the sacroiliac joint is formed. Then now we are moving on the point number 16. Okay, now in this point, this is the posterior view or the posterior surface of the sacrum, and as you can see, this posterior surface is rough, and here this is the anterior surface, which one is the concave one, and this surface is smooth. Okay, so now posterior to the articular surface, rough surface is present, and this rough surface, okay, this rough surface is known as the sacral tuberosity. And what this sacral tuberosity is doing? So sacral tuberosity is a rough surface, and it is having a depression. As you can see, it is having the depression, and it serves as a surface for the attachment of the ligaments. Okay, so with this sacral tuberosity, the ligaments are joining over here. Okay, and at the same time, the sacral tuberosity joins with the hip bone and forming the sacroiliac joint. Okay, for example, over here in this figure, this is the ventral view or the anterior view, and now if we turn this 180 degree, then we can observe. So on the back side, we can observe the sacroiliac joint, which is formed between, this joint is formed between the sacral tuberosity and the hip bone. Okay, so this is the 16 point. Okay, point number 16, so you can read this point. Okay, now we are moving on the last point of our discussion. This is the point number 17, and in this point we are going to discuss the lumbosacral joint, how this lumbosacral joint is formed. So superior articular process of the sacrum, remember this thing. I will explain with the help of figure, but first you remember the superior articular process of sacrum and inferior articular process of fifth lumbar vertebra. So between them, the lumbar sacral joint is present, and base of the sacrum and the body of the fifth lumbar vertebra, this lumbosacral joint is formed. So in the figure, I am explaining this point. Now you observe very carefully. Okay, so this one is the, this part is the superior articular process. This one is also superior articular process of the sacrum. Okay, and this one, this is the, this part is the inferior articular process of the fifth lumbar vertebra. So this joint, so right now I am showing you lumbosacral joint. Over here, this one is the lumbosacral joint. So once again, lumbosacral joint, superior articular process of the sacrum, inferior articular process of the fifth lumbar vertebra. So this one is the lumbosacral sacral joint. Acha. Then this one. This is the this one is the this one is the base of the sacrum, and this one is the body of fifth lumbar vertebra. So this one is the body, and this one is the base of the sacrum vertebra. So between this joint, this is also lumbo-sacral joint. So now I am showing you only the lumbo-sacral joint now. So this one is the lumbo-sacral joint. This one is the lumbo-sacral joint, and this one is also lumbo-sacral joint. So with this I have completed all 17 points of this presentation lecture. Now before I wind up this lecture, I would like to show you all the figures. So you observe all the figures. I am zooming this so you can go through all the figures. Then on right hand side, all the names: atlas, axis, cervical, then the thoracic, lumbar. Okay. Then this figure. Okay. Then this. And this figure. And this figure. Then the point number 16, point number 17, this, all the names. Okay, go through all the names. Then this figure, this figure, and this last one. Okay, so with this I have completed this presentation lecture on sacrum. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation lecture, and I hope this presentation lecture is helpful in your studies, and at the same time this will be helpful for your competitive exam. Okay, my name is Manish Kosti sir. I am from Ahmedabad, India. Bye bye. Namaste.